Our faithful Suzuki V-Strom has gotten us this far. Let's not get too excited about it. Rode in from Midland, Texas yesterday on board the Suzuki V-Strom XT650. Little beast did a pretty good job. It is a little buzzy, but because of the riding position, really wasn't horrible. TKC 80 tires are still holding. Front and rear tire on this motorcycle are right at 8,000 miles. Welcome to the Ride with GNR channel. Today we are leaving Sante Fe, New Mexico, passing through Albuquerque and headed west to Arizona. In 1540 and 1541, Francisco Vasquez de Coronado and his expedition of conquistadors camped in the vicinity of Albuquerque and Santa Fe. As you skirt the edges of the little town of Bernalillo, getting onto Highway 550, right off of the Rio Grande River, there's a little sign marked the Coronado site. And for the past 80 years, there was little evidence to support that Coronado actually camped in that location where there is a Native American pueblo. It's only been in the last few years that metal detectors have been scouring the area, finding fragments of chain mail, more tips that would have been used on Spanish crossbows, and other small material fragments, giving support to the fact that Coronado indeed did use this site most likely as his campgrounds where he spread out from in 1540 and 1541, searching for the 7 cities of gold. My wife and I recently visited that location on our Kawasaki Concord 14, and one of these days we will post that video and show you that Indian Pueblo site, which I drove past so many years and never stopped to explore. Continuing on our path west of Albuquerque, we continue to follow somewhat of the path that the Spanish explorers came into the area of New Mexico out of Arizona, passing the Acoma Pueblos and a Zuni Pueblo, which I cannot pronounce the name, which has some very interesting historical meaning. Unfortunately, due to the fact that there is a pandemic in the United States, many of these Indian Pueblos are more than cautious and refusing anyone to come into their reservation lands who is not a member of that reservation to try and keep the numbers of COVID spreading. Near the Arizona-New Mexico border lies this Zuni Pueblo that it is believed was known as Cibola in the time of the Spanish explorers. When the first Spanish explorers came into this area, it was believed that Cibola was going to be the first of the 7 cities of gold. Much to their disappointment, that was not correct. In fact, one of the very first explorers into this area was a black conquistador named Esteban de Negro, who met his fate at the Zuni Indian Pueblo. of Cibola. Wow, we just found out the limits of this Suzuki V-Strom on this very windy day in New Mexico. Today I have passed a lot of semi-trucks. I was just trying to make a small incline and came out from behind a semi-truck on the throttle of my 650 V-Strom. I was immediately blasted by the headwinds coming out of the west, and finding the limits of this motorcycle's power and acceleration sucked, because there was traffic coming up pretty quickly behind me, and I basically had to hit my brakes and tuck back behind the semi-truck to keep from getting run over. I literally pegged the throttle on this thing and had zero, absolutely none, zero acceleration. In fact, I wound up dropping down to about 64 miles an hour. Since yesterday, we've put about 700 miles on the Suzuki V-Strom 650, and I do have some conclusions to make about this little motorcycle. Having spent the last 2 years commuting on it on a regular basis, I bumped this thing up to about 85 miles an hour. And I don't really have an issue with it, but on the long haul, I can tell you 65 is my happy place on this motorcycle. 65 to 70 miles an hour. Any more than that, and to be honest with you, I have been really uncomfortable as far as my hands and the buzzing goes. There's no throttle lock or cruise control on this motorcycle. So 65-ish is definitely our happy place. Cruising 85, honestly, genuinely felt like it was just hard on the motorcycle for that long. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm overreacting, but just seems a bit much on the long duration.
Use the right lane to take exit 192 onto Flagstaff Ranch Road.
Welcome to Arizona, home of the Arizona Desert Dog channel on YouTube. Mr. Arizona Desert Dog takes us on weekly trips most of the time, giving us an insight to the single track off-road world, and also on his big dual sport KTM. Takes us around Arizona, where we get to see some interesting sights. I found some camping sites on Google Maps, so we're gonna check those out and see if we might come up with a place to stay for the night. Apparently this route is taking us off the main interstate to what is old Route 66.
At the stop sign, turn right onto West Route 66, then turn right.
Well, ironically, I might be staying for a second night on old Route 66. Last night was Rancheros Campground in Sante Fe. Tonight will be, well, I hope, where I'm headed. We are looking for Woodlands Campground.
Turn right, then the destination is on your right.